Welcome back. So here is my finished Bartop kit. I'm almost done. There's a couple little odds and ends I need to finish. I'll show you guys what those are, but wanted to give you a little walkthrough of what the kit is, what it does, what's inside, and kind of like an overall cost. I'll also go over some things that I would probably change in the future. There's not too many. I'm pretty satisfied with the way this build went together. As far as cost goes, I'm probably into this, I don't know, right around $500 with the artwork and all the accessories and everything, which isn't too bad. I bought the 21-inch monitor on Craigslist for, I think, 60 bucks. So I saved about $40 or $50 there. I kind of walk through, we'll go through. So this is a translite, just like you get in a traditional arcade. Behind here, I put some LED strips, and they just plug into a 12-volt supply. I'll show you that in a second. Obviously the monitor. What I need to do is I need to close up this gap up here. So I'm going to make a custom piece of Lexan that's tinted, kind of like along the edge, all the way along the edge there. And maybe at some point make some kind of a custom bezel that matches the artwork. I'm sure I could do that. But I just want to close up that gap. I don't like the way you can see through the back of the cabinet. And I also don't like how you can see the Asus monitor insignia and some of the controls down here. So I want to clean that up. Other than that, the front of the cabinet's pretty nice. So I designed this to look like, obviously, an old school Nintendo. So the reason I did the 6 buttons and then the select and start was because I want to be able to play the MAME games, and some of the other buttons are needed for some of those games. On the front, you have exit, mode, start, and play, and those all come into play in Emulation Station, which is what this is running. One thing that I would change on this would be the degree of grayness. I wanted this to kind of resemble the gray of a old school Nintendo Entertainment Center system rather. And it's a little bit too gray for me. If you look at the sides, I think it came out pretty damn sweet, but kind of has a bluish, purplish tint to it, and I would have done that a little less of that, but that's okay. Still looks pretty badass to me. So behind here, I'll turn the flashlight on for you guys. Behind in here is some speakers. You can kind of see them right up in there. They're 4-inch car speakers, and those are wired right down here into this little amp right here. And this plugs in right here with a 12-volt supply that plugs into one of these here. You can see there's 3 of them. I actually have a splitter coming from Amazon, so I can just plug one in and split them off. So there's a power switch, volume, treble, and bass, which is pretty nice. They sound pretty good. Up top there, that's the 12-volt supply for the LED lights that are behind the translite. So the marquee, this here will all light up with LED lights. It's actually pretty nice at night. Here's the Raspberry Pi 3. As you can see, it's got the USB coming out there that plugs into the Zinmo. I decided to do that just because I wanted to try it this time. Actually having one issue with it. The Player 1 joystick, for some reason the left does not work. I've kind of fooled around with everything, and I've come to the conclusion I think I got a bad joystick, not one of the buttons. So that kind of sucks, because I'm going to have to take apart half the cabinet to replace this if that's the issue. So I'm kind of going to still work on it, but everything else works except for that. So that's a little bit of a hassle, but it is what it is. So back to the inside, there's a power strip. I actually hot glued that down. That's not going anywhere. And then I kind of zip tied. I use these little sticky things right here. These are pretty nice. You peel off the back, they stick to anything, and then you can put a zip tie through it. And you can kind of see I got them all over the place, kind of, which cleans up everything in here nice and neat. You can see all the wires down there for the buttons. They're all LED buttons, and these are the Sanwa joysticks. I like them, but the only thing I don't like is when you grab the joystick, the ball spins. And I don't really care for that. I wish it would just be solid, because when you're trying to go left or right, it kind of spins in your hand like that. It's spinning. I don't really care for that. But other than that, I mean, you live and learn with these things. So that's pretty much the inside of the cabinet. I'll turn it on for you guys. I'm not going to be able to power up the translite because I only have 2 power supplies right here. One for the speakers, one for the button LEDs to light up, and then this one powers a Raspberry Pi 3. I don't have another one yet to plug into there. I'm waiting for that adapter, so the translite will not light up. So give me a second, I'll turn it around and turn it on. I'll try to get this light off here so you can see. So this is the company I bought it from, GameRoomSolutions.com. I gotta say it's a pretty nice little kit. He pre-flashes your image, so you can see everything just boots right up. And it boots right into Emulation Station, which is kind of like a front end, similar to like a Hyperspin, but it's specifically made for Raspberry Pi 3. It's smaller, and I gotta say I'm really impressed with how fast the games boot and how fast the in and out is of the games and back to the other games. I'll show you. So these are all the different emulators. So right now Daphne, for example, if you go into it, you press play and it boots in. You can see the games, for example, like Dragon's Lair's in there, which is pretty cool. And then if you press exit, that brings you back to the main screen. There's nothing for Dreamcast in there yet, but Game Gear tells you how many games. There's 257 games there. Game Boy, 553 games. Game Boy Color, 529. Then all the MAME games, 2,270 games there. Sega Mega Drive, which is all the Genesis games, 811 games. NES, 788 games. And then you can go into this, which is the port. So if you want to do like Kodi, so you can go to here and you can you know, watch movies and play music and videos and stuff. I don't really care about that, so I'll just kind of show you that. And this is the RetroPie is what runs this whole thing. It says 14 games, but it's actually how you set up your Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So let's go back. This is Super Nintendo too, I forgot. And there is 786 games in there. So if you go into Nintendo, for example, say you want to play Zelda 2. Still getting used to the buttonage. So this pops up and tells you the Zinmo is all coded up. So you can see it goes pretty good. So here you hold down exit and mode and it brings it back to the screen. So you can see the delay is like less than 2 seconds. Then you can switch out. Then if you want to go back to the home screen, you press exit and it brings you back to this, and you can go to like Sega Mega Drive, press play and it'll bring you in there, and you can just scroll through all the games. Play. Pretty cool. So I wasn't planning on using MAME on this, but I've played some of the MAME games, and I gotta say it's pretty quick. I'll show you Street Fighter. I haven't figured out how to page up and down. I know there's a way to do it real quick, but I haven't read the manual yet because I just got this together at like 10 o'clock at night last night. So I'll show you. So remember, the marquee's not lit up because I don't have that power supply plugged in yet. So select is just like adding coins. See? So now this one here, see how that doesn't move left? It goes everywhere, right, up, down, left, but left, no right. So I don't see any delay in anything as far as the speed of the games, the sound, nothing. And you can watch how fast it exits. 1, 2, almost less than 3 seconds, and it gets you back into the menu. Then you can scroll to a new game and play that game and get in and out. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I mean, not even 2 seconds, you're in the game. I haven't tried any of the Mortal Kombats yet because they're missing some of the ROMs. I haven't put them all on. But I put a bunch of Street Fighters on just to kind of test and see how fast the game runs, because usually Street Fighter and some of the 1 and 2 Mortal Kombats will run about the same speed. I got to try UMK3 and a couple other games, but as far as some of these others playing, I mean, it plays spot on. So you can see. So then we'll go back into the main menu, and you can pick, for example, like Super Nintendo, Daphne. I mean, like I said, I don't have anything on the Dreamcast yet, but Game Gear. So I mean, I'm very happy with the game. It looks good. As far as, let me turn the light back on. As far as the artwork goes, I think it looks pretty sweet. It's not that heavy, since the internals, really the only weight is the weight of the cabinet and the LCD monitor, which is super light. All the buttons, I do like the LEDs. I was thinking about actually upgrading to LED joysticks. Might not be for everybody, but I wanted to keep the red look with the Nintendo. So I'm pretty happy. I can't say anything really negative about it. A couple things I'd change would be I would probably not use these joysticks just because I don't like how they spin, so I might switch those out at a later date. And I'd change the color theme of the gray. I wish it was a little lighter gray. And I mean, really, that's about it. I mean, the Raspberry Pi 3 was very simple to install. It's literally from this guy, Game Room Solutions, plug and play. You have to load some ROMs up, and you're up and running. He literally sets everything up on the Zinmo. That's the keyboard controller. You plug it in, you put the power in, and you literally start playing games. It's that easy. So the toughest thing was applying the artwork. I think it did a pretty decent job. You can see along the edge here, I got a little of the gray, the darker gray showing around the edge here. It's kind of consistent on this side too. You can kind of see right here. So I like how it's consistent, but that's supposed to be further over and not there. But you know, nothing's ever perfect on these original builds. But the overall build quality is pretty nice of this cabinet. It's all that cam lock stuff. So you put a screwdriver in and you push to the right to lock it, and you unlock to the left. I haven't put the back panel on yet. It's over there on the floor because I really don't think I'm going to access the back panel with that. I think I'm going to keep it off. But pretty easy to use. It really is. I like the layout. I like how fast it. I was worried that with the Raspberry Pi 3 it was going to be slow. It's actually faster than my main computer for booting up the game, so I'm pretty happy with it. So any questions, let me know, but very happy with the kit. It's a very clean, easy install. It took me about 2 hours to put everything together, about another 25-30 minutes to put the artwork in. The most time consuming thing is wiring up all the buttons and testing everything. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is my Nintendo NES Bartop custom build.